Hi, this is Attorney Shaparali from the Shaparali Law Group, and I wanted to discuss a little bit about the implications of Donald Trump's statement regarding banning all the Muslims from entering the United States. Well, on a constitutional level, many professors and many people have kind of dismissed the whole idea, saying it will be unconstitutional. But I wanted to look at it from a perspective of its possibilities and whether it can happen or not. Well, first of all, if you look at it, we don't know really what he means by banning. Does that mean also U.S. citizens who are Muslims are not going to be allowed inside United States? Or is he talking about only tourist visas or people with non-immigrant visas? And since we deal a lot with non-immigrant visas like H-1B, F-1 students, how if in case there is a possibility for Donald Trump and actually Congress to enact such a law that will ban Muslims, how will it be possible on a constitutional level and immigration law level? First of all, if you look at it from the U.S. citizen perspective, it will be denial of equal rights under the U.S. Constitution and also freedom of religion. But if you look at it now from a perspective of immigration law and constitutionality of it, in the past, Roosevelt passed a law where he banned Japanese during World War II, not only from entering but actually interned them into internment camp. And in California, many Japanese still remember those really dark times when they have to suffer because of a war. And also back in the days, in the 1800s, in the 1880s, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the Chinese Exclusion Act was used to exclude Chinese from the United States. And also during World War II, many Jews, I think in 1938, were prevented from entering United States. Now the question, who has a majority and whether it's possible or not, I know there's a lot of outrage, a lot of people saying it will not happen, but the truth is that it might happen. The way the climate is going and the way things are going, it just requires one spark to really kind of ignite an entire volatile situation. And more people are believing in that message, and unfortunately, let's analyze how it can happen. Well, first of all, on immigration side, based on national security and many of the rules that were passed back in the days, they can revive those. And actually, I remember the days after September 11 where they will have those special registration, which in itself was kind of similar to that, where they will ask people from Middle Eastern countries. It was not based on religion, it was based on countries, where they will ask them to register. So now we are seeing, because of the acts of few deranged people, a lot of other people are suffering. But the truth is that it was just an agenda. We have to accept that, an agenda that where basically some people, and the same people who are blaming the Muslims now, have blamed the immigrants. And Donald Trump, of course, have called the immigrants from Mexico criminals. Then he even got into trouble making fun of the reporter who denied what he said about Muslims, because that person suffered from some kind of disability, and now he's taking on the Muslims. The truth is, if we don't stop it here, this thing is going to get bigger and bigger, and it is already getting bigger. There is a saying from a great reverend back in the days. He said, they came for the Jews and I didn't stand up because I was not a Jew. They came for the Catholic, I didn't stand up and because I was not a Catholic. And then when they came for me, nobody was there to stand for me. And this is exactly what has happened right now. They came for the Mexicans, and those who were not Mexicans didn't stand up. Many did, many did not. And now, then he came for the disabled people. Now he's coming for the Muslims, and if people don't stand up, it might be them next. So, ladies and gentlemen, the truth is, the United States Constitution is a very powerful instrument and a powerful document. It's not that easy to go around it, but when it comes to immigration, where there's a lot of the rights are very limited for immigrants, by the way, and there are a few case law which I'm not going to mention here, where the rights of the immigrants are limited because of the fact that many of them are not US citizens. We can expect that such law might be passed. So in anticipation of that, I would recommend people to be careful, because at this point there's no legal ground for them to pass such a law, and I'm pretty sure most politicians in the United States are against it. The problem is that once it is out there, more and more people are going to try to analyze that and basically justify it. And the truth is that if they justify it enough, that law might be passed. Some people have even mentioned that they will not accept Muslim Syrian refugees, and this is how it starts. And unfortunately, if you look at the history of the world, the Nazi came into power democratically. They were elected. They were not. It was not a power struggle that brought the Nazis in power. We don't want this in the United States. Not to mention that anybody is a Nazi or not. The truth is, we, as an immigration lawyer, we want to be prepared that such law doesn't stand constitutional muster, which I think it will not. But also at the same time, since our rights are limited for immigrants, especially non-immigrant visa holders like H1, B1 visa, F1, they need to be careful, because there will be definitely some people who will try to make their life harder. And so far President Obama has been siding with the immigrants, but if the government changes, things will change. So be ready for that. But in the meanwhile, we think that this ban on all Muslims is unconstitutional, definitely. But if it is limited to certain immigrants, it might not be so unconstitutional. Again, everything I'm telling you today is my opinion, ladies and gentlemen, and everything I say is educational in purpose. You should not act or refrain to act solely on the information provided. It was just a quick analysis on the Donald Trump statement. So thank you very much for listening. So for all those who are on non-immigrant visa and those who are on immigrant visas, there's nothing to worry at this point. But we might have to worry if things go a little bit harsher on the immigrants. So be ready, but hopefully we will have good American people standing for you. Thank you.